Electric cars are becoming more common every year. When people talk about electric cars, they usually talk about range, charging speed, battery life, price, and design. But all of those things are connected to one very important part of the car, the battery. And inside most electric car batteries, there is one material that plays a major role: lithium. Most people do not think about lithium when they see an electric car. They think about how far it can drive, how fast it charges, or how much it costs. But lithium is connected to all of those things. It helps decide how much energy the battery can store. It can affect the final price of the car. It can affect how many EVs companies are able to build. And it can even affect which car brands become leaders in the electric future. So in this video, we are going to look at why lithium matters, where it comes from, and why it has become so important for electric cars. Because the future of EVs is not only about motors, screens, or charging stations. A big part of it depends on the battery. And right now, most of those batteries still depend on lithium. To understand why lithium matters, we need to start with the battery. In a gasoline car, the engine is one of the most important parts. In an electric car, the battery is one of the most important parts. The battery helps decide how far the car can go, how fast it can charge, how heavy the car is, and how expensive it is to build. That is why battery technology is so important in the EV industry. Most modern electric cars use lithium-ion batteries. These batteries became popular because they can store a lot of energy without becoming too large or too heavy. That is very important for an electric car. A phone battery only has to power a small device. A laptop battery has to power a computer. But an EV battery has to move an entire car, with passengers and luggage, at city speeds and highway speeds. It has to work in hot weather, cold weather, traffic, hills, and long road trips. So the battery needs to store a lot of energy, last for many years, and charge again and again. Lithium helps make this possible. This does not mean lithium is the only important material in an EV battery. Batteries also use other materials, and there are different types of battery chemistry. But lithium is still one of the key materials behind most electric cars today. That is why car companies, battery companies, and governments care so much about it. Because if you want to build millions of electric cars, you need millions of batteries. And if you need millions of batteries, you need a steady supply of lithium. Before lithium ends up inside an EV battery, it has to come from the ground. There are two main ways this happens. The first way is mining. In places like Australia, lithium is found in hard rock. This rock is taken from the ground, crushed, and processed until the lithium can be used for batteries. The second way is from salty underground water, called brine. This is common in parts of South America, especially in countries like Chile and Argentina. In simple terms, companies pump this salty water from underground and process it to collect the lithium. So even though electric cars look clean, modern, and high-tech, their batteries start with a very large journey. Lithium may begin in a mine or under a salt flat, then it has to be processed, then it has to be turned into a form that battery makers can use, then it goes into battery cells. Then those cells are put together into a battery pack, and finally, that battery pack is installed inside an electric car. So when we look at an EV in a showroom, we are only seeing the final product. Behind it is a long chain of mines, factories, ships, trucks, chemical plants, battery companies, and car companies. This is why lithium supply matters so much. If companies cannot get enough lithium that is ready for batteries, they cannot build enough batteries. And without enough batteries, they cannot build enough EVs. One of the biggest problems with electric cars is price. EVs have become cheaper over time, but many electric cars are still more expensive than similar gasoline cars. A big reason is the battery. The battery pack is one of the most expensive parts of an electric car. So if battery materials become more expensive, the whole car can become harder to sell at a lower price. Lithium is part of that story. When lithium prices rise, battery makers can face higher costs. Those costs can then affect car companies, and eventually they can affect buyers. This does not always happen immediately. Car prices depend on many things, like competition, taxes, production costs, software, labor, and company strategy. But battery cost is still one of the biggest factors. That means lithium can have a real effect on the EV market. If lithium is expensive, affordable EVs become harder to build. If lithium becomes cheaper, battery prices can fall, and car companies may have more room to lower prices or offer better range for the same money. This is why lithium matters even if you are not interested in mining. It can affect the price of the EV you might buy. When people ask, why are electric cars still expensive? Part of the answer is under the floor of the car, the battery. And inside that battery, lithium plays an important role. Range is one of the first things people check when looking at an electric car. How far can it go on a full charge? This number matters a lot because many buyers still worry about running out of battery. But more range usually means a bigger battery. And a bigger battery is not always a simple solution. A bigger battery can give the car more range, but it also adds weight. More weight can make the car less efficient. It can also make the car more expensive. So every EV is a balance. Car companies have to think about range, price, weight, charging speed, and battery life. Lithium is part of that balance because it is one of the materials that helps the battery store energy. But the answer is not always just add more battery. A small city EV may not need a huge battery. A long-range sedan may need a bigger one. An electric truck may need even more energy because it is heavier and may be used for towing or work. This is why battery design is so important. A good EV is not just about having the biggest battery, it is about using the battery in the smartest way. That means better motors, better software, better aerodynamics, better charging, and better battery chemistry. Lithium helps make modern EVs possible, but engineers still have to decide how much battery a car really needs, because the more battery you add, the more expensive and heavy the car can become. Another important thing to understand is that not all EV batteries are the same. Most EV batteries use lithium, but they do not all use the same chemistry. Some electric cars use LFP batteries. LFP means lithium iron phosphate. These batteries are usually cheaper to make, and they are known for being durable. They also do not use nickel or cobalt, which can help reduce cost and supply problems. That is why LFP batteries are becoming popular in more affordable electric cars. But LFP batteries usually store a bit less energy for the same weight compared to some other battery types. So for very long-range or high-performance EVs, some companies use different lithium batteries that include materials like nickel. These batteries can store more energy, but they can also be more expensive. This is why two EVs can both be electric but feel very different. One might be built for low cost and everyday driving, another might be built for long range and performance. The battery choice affects the car's range, cost, weight, and sometimes even charging behavior. So when people talk about the future of electric cars, they are also talking about the future of battery chemistry. And for now, lithium is still part of most of those battery choices. Now we get to one of the most important parts of the story. The country that has lithium in the ground does not automatically control the EV future. That is because mining lithium is only the first step. After lithium is taken from the ground, it has to be processed. Then it has to be made clean enough and pure enough for batteries. Then it goes into battery materials. Then those materials are used to make battery cells. Then the cells are turned into battery packs. And then those battery packs go into electric cars. So the real power is not only in having lithium, the real power is in controlling the whole chain. This is one reason China became so important in the EV world. China has invested heavily in battery factories, battery materials, and EV production. That gives Chinese car companies a major advantage. They can build batteries at huge scale, they can reduce costs, and they can bring electric cars to market quickly. This is not only about one country having more lithium, it is about having the factories and knowledge to turn raw materials into finished EV batteries. That is why many car companies are now trying to secure their own battery supply. Some are making deals with mining companies, some are building battery factories, some are working with battery makers. And some are trying to use different battery chemistries to reduce risk. Because in the EV industry, batteries are not just parts. They are the center of the business. A car company can design a beautiful electric car, it can have great software, a nice interior, and strong performance. But if the company cannot get batteries at the right price, it will struggle to build that car in large numbers. That is why lithium and battery supply are so important. They can decide which EVs get built, how much they cost, and which brands can grow. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more documentaries about electric cars, batteries, and the future of the auto industry. And let me know in the comments, do you think lithium will stay at the center of EV batteries, or will another battery technology take over?